Welcome to This Week in Anderson High School Athletics here on ESPN Media, powered by Sidearm Sports. I'm Jason Griefer. We're joined by Anderson Athletic Director Chris Newton and Assistant AD Zach McCormick. Gentlemen, let's get right into it because we have a full slate of stuff to talk about here. I started with these three athletic events a week ago. I want to do it again. Cheer, dance, gymnastics. A lot of stuff to preview last week in the premiere episode of the winter season. How have they looked since we last talked?
We'll start it off here. On Friday night, we had our senior night for our cheer and dance, and so that was pretty cool. Our cheerleaders, we have one senior cheerleader, Sarah Katie Lindgren, and so that was pretty cool, honoring her family here and stuff like that. And she is she's an outstanding young lady. She actually goes to the Oaks. And I believe she's going to be a cosmetologist. So she's very career-oriented, goal-oriented. But there's tons of cool things about her. But one of the cool things is she can do backflips the whole length of the court. So, and I'm glad you brought that up because I took a video of it for the first time, and I need to tweet that out. But yeah, she can go the whole length of the gosh darn basketball court doing backflips. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But they do such a great job, our girls, and just really proud of them. They continue to work hard in practice for the upcoming ECC championships on the 30th. Dance, we had 5 seniors. And they put together, they choreographed their own dance. And I got to tell you, first of all, I don't know how they do any of that stuff, but they didn't even let the coaches come in. So the coaches had to sit outside because we got to have a coach present at every practice. So the coach sat right outside the gym while they did it. They didn't want their coaches to see. They wanted it to be a surprise. So, and quite honestly, if you didn't have such outstanding kids, you wouldn't trust them. And what's going to happen here? And they were awesome. It was so cool. And I'm going to put that on to Twitter. It was so cool to see 5 girls, make up their own dance and put it out there. So I know this, you get paid big money to choreograph dance, and they did it for free. So I might hire them. And then they went to Beaver Creek on Sunday and did awesome. So, and then Zach can talk about gymnastics.
Yep.
Hey, gymnastics, we got a new stud here. Abby Pitts. Yeah. Her dad, Bill Pitts, actually just walked in, didn't realize that we were doing a podcast. But
good time to talk her up then.
Oh, I know, that's what I'm saying. He paid me to do it, but I said, no, we don't need your money. She's actually that good that we'll just continue to talk about her. So she plays first on the bars and second on the floor out there in Tip City, which is awesome. And then Maddie Bailey plays fifth on the bars and fifth on the beam. And I mean, gymnastics, those girls work just tirelessly, and the coaches do as well. They travel all the way out there to Tip City, and we're actually getting ready for our Win the Day coming up in a couple of weeks here. So, and one of the cool things that Coach Bailey does is she kind of takes what other events are doing and kind of helps. So we're ready to do Win the Day, because right now it's kind of crazy. You never know what to expect with how it's all going to go. So she's doing a heck of a job getting ready for Win the Day. So we're super excited for that coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Newt, what kind of preparations are you going through as a staff to get everything ready to go for that Win the Day event?
It's a ton, to be honest with you. And our, Stacy Bailey, she works nonstop on this, trying to make sure there's 5 flights and to make sure, she organizes the teams and gets them ready to go. So she does an absolute ton of work, and behind the scenes, Patty Sneed works a ton on it, because the ticket thing is kind of difficult. We used to just, hey, everybody come on in. It's no big deal. Now, with our limit, we have to make sure that, we don't go over a certain amount in our gym. So we have to make sure we organize the tickets. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know anything with our ticketing department. That's all Patty and Zach. So what Patty has to do is break down how many teams, how many gymnasts, how many tickets does each one get. She has to send it to each school. There's about 40 different schools coming, like five at a time, but we might have 9 or 10 schools coming at a time because they might only have one gymnast, and where the other schools have 6 gymnasts. So it is a time consuming thing, and to be honest with you, Zach and my work is really done at the event. It's everything else behind the scenes right now, and that's Patty Sneed, and that's Stacy Bailey and our gymnasts and all that. Then come when the day that Zach and I will have our Ghostbuster squirt packs on, and we'll be going all over the place, knocking out all the germs and all that stuff, and we'll make sure everything is rolling then. But it's a ton of work that goes on behind the scenes.
Zach, how invaluable is it to have staff members who can put those things together, especially with so many other schools and so many other gymnasts coming in, to where when you guys get to the day of this win the day event, that all your responsibilities are, for the most part, is making sure everything's clean and properly sanitized?
I mean, to be honest, it's incredible. I mean, we have the best staff in the entire world. Patty Sneed, I'm not going to talk too nice about her over here because her ears are ringing. But she does an incredible job behind the scenes that not everybody gets to see. Like, everybody sees Newton Eye all over the place at the games, but I mean, this place might shut down if it weren't for Patty. And then Stacy Bailey does an incredible job, obviously. She probably works on it all year long. And then, I mean, the custodians who are here working the whole entire time. I mean, we really have a great staff that we're able to go out and put a smile on our Ghostbusters pack and run around and sanitize everything. And everybody else kind of does so much work. And we're just super appreciative of everybody who plays a role in all of these and just making sure that our kids are able to go out there and perform. And that's the most important thing.
Let's move on and talk about your academic team, and tough result against Little Miami. And I'm in Little Miami, of course, right now they're undefeated. They're 6-0. So your team's sitting at 4-2, and I'm seeing the results come in from this 2-game match against Little Miami, and I'm seeing scores for your team are not bad. They're not quite what they were the week before, of course, but still pretty high scores for your team. Was this just an instance where Little Miami got hot and just kind of rode that momentum throughout?
Yeah, and first of all, Little Miami, they are they're the tops around. I mean, they do a great job, and they've been that way for a long time. I remember going out for a when we were looking to invite schools into the ECC. When schools would put information out, we would go visit. And I remember heading out to Little Miami. That was the first time I've ever been inside Little Miami school. And there's like a shrine dedicated to their academic quiz team. It's unreal. So they have been tremendous for a long time at that. And Greg Long knew that we were going in. It was going to be a tough one, and he was pretty pleased at the way they performed. It's just there's times where you get beat, and they got beat in that situation. So. We hope to bounce back. Wednesday we have Kings at home, so it'll be fun to go in again, and for Zach and I to go in there and realize once again how dumb we are. Zach tries to answer questions, and I just try to figure out what the heck the words are. So we work as a team together in those. But Sammy Engel and the kids, they'll be fired up and ready to go for Wednesday.
Okay, so you're trying to figure out some of the words that are being asked and some of the responses. Zach's actually trying to answer the question, so I want to know who gets more right.
Definitely not me.
Oh, Nate, it depends. 0-0, we tie.
Okay, good answer. Way to be diplomatic about it.
I'm still waiting for the sports questions to come out.
Thank you.
We'd crush those, man.
Thank you. We need a sports academic team. Can you guys get on that? You're officials. Can put out an email to the ECC? Because yeah, I would be I'd
Just
be
a
all in tune
category
for
at
that.
least, man. That's all I'm asking.
Thank you. Come on, it's important. Sports are important, folks. We prove it
Yeah.
every week here on the podcast. let's let's move on. Let's hit the wrestling mats here, and regular season kind of winding down for them. Of course, we saw some video over the weekend on your Twitter there, Newt, of Sam Mizukawa just continuing to wrap dudes up and twist them up into all different kinds of things that would probably have us hospitalized for months. So with the regular season coming winding down, or we can see the end of the regular season in sight, what have the coaches said about the growth of the team as they've gone through this most unusual season?
Oh, it's been great, and we've had a new coach. We added a new coach, Gage Branson, a young man that went to West Claremont and wrestled and had a celebratory career at Bellarmine. So he has brought a ton of energy. Lucas Lepker has joined. He's a former AHS grad. He's come back on, and Brad Gertner. So they are, Brad Gertner is a great leader of those, not only our young coaches, but of our wrestlers. And they've seen a lot of growth. Unfortunately, we were on the Corona disabled list over Christmas break. So they came back, I think it was January 6th, they've been back, and they hit the ground running, got after it. But we've got a lot of young kids, and that's the really neat thing to see. As what was it, Thursday we won our 13th straight King of the Hill. We're able to do that because not only we have quality wrestlers, but we have so many wrestlers that we're able to go out there and fill all the weight classes and get after it. Not only just, throw a kid out there, but a kid that can get after it. And so we've got a lot of youth that's coming out there. The one thing that I took on Saturday, a kid named Beckett Nauman, he is a freshman. And I start out on the camera with every wrestler. And to be honest with you, if things aren't going very well, and sometimes they don't, I might put the camera down. So I was, videoing Beckett, and Beckett, quite honestly, he was getting worked over for a couple periods, and he just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And it was awesome to see his third period is going. And I'm like, shoot, I need to get the camera back out here. And just to see the energy that our kids had on the bench and the energy the coaches had, and Beckett kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And he turned that match all around. He was down 15-4, which in a couple more points, that's a tech fall. He's down 15-4 and comes back and pins the guy. And I'm going to tell you what, man, there was no spectators in. I snuck in again, and it was, that place erupted. And to see a freshman ignite and excite your whole entire team, that's awesome. So the energy and the youth is great with that. And we go Wednesday, we have a match. We have Northwest, Fenwick, and Madeira that are going to come here. And so we get to do some, they get to show off for the home crowd Wednesday night.
Zach, Newt's talking about the youth that you have on this team. A lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores being asked to step in and fill really big spots at varying weight classes on this team in this, as I said, most unusual season. Can it work to your advantage as the team that you have all this youth that maybe isn't used to a quote unquote normal off season, normal training season in between meets, that they can come in and, okay, COVID protocols are in place, this is all we know, and that can play to their advantage come meet time?
Oh, absolutely. Just like as kids, young kids, you can mold them into kind of whatever you want because their brains are so squishy. They're able to take in everything, you know what I mean? And for them, they're able to kind of just hit the ground running. They don't know any different, which is kind of nice this year, obviously, with COVID and the way that everything's kind of taken a step back, and we've had to quarantine a couple times and do different things like that. But the kids are, when you have such great kids, they're all young and positive is the main thing. And they're excited to be out there. When we practice, they're excited to practice. And I don't think you can ask for much more in a team. It's just, I mean, they really are thankful and happy to be hitting the mats whenever they can. And I mean, young and old, I think, I mean, if you take that approach, it's going to be good for the program in the long run. So I'm glad that we'll have those young kids and we'll be cheering for them for a while to come. So it's going to be awesome.
You know, Jason, the neat thing about our wrestling program is all this youth. Yeah. And one of those kids is an absolute hammer. So all this youth, and heck, even the sophomore or the juniors and seniors can look to McLean Morency because, you know, he's a guy, he's going to be there in the end. And they can see how, you know, it's one thing for coaches to tell you to do thing. It's another thing to see one of your peers working incredibly hard at all times and all times of the day. Yep. And they can see this kid and they wonder, gosh, why is this kid so good? Well, they know why he's so good because of all the time and effort and energy he puts in. So him, besides our coaches, McLean Morency is flat out awesome for our youth because he sets the tone for everything.
And just keep in mind, McLean and Sam Mizukawa, if you're watching or listening to this podcast, Zach McCormick has said you have squishy brains. And so you can address them with him directly the next time you see him. Zach, you're on your own on that one. Newton,
I appreciate that.
Hands off. You're on your own there, buddy. That's hands off here.
Yeah, Zach and my brain times 12 wouldn't equal Sam Mizukawa's. I can tell you that. That kid's brilliant.
We're locked in. We're in sync here. Let's move on and let's talk about your basketball teams. And let's talk about the girls first. Difficult season continues here. This week they're going to take on Lebanon and Winton Woods for the second time as they begin the back half of the ECC schedule. First two times around, not so pretty as far as the results go, but it's been about 6 weeks since they've seen these two teams. So a chance to get back and continue to progress in these coming games as we look forward here. In the 6 weeks since they've played Lebanon and Winton Woods, Newt, I'll start with you. How much improvement have you seen with this extremely young team?
Oh, a ton. I mean, we're getting and we're finally starting to get some consistency of being able to practice with all the girls. And that's been the hardest part. You know, we practice 2 or 3 days and then someone would go out and then, you know, it's just the inconsistencies of having all the kids at practice has been very tough. So, you know, yesterday at our game, we had Kendall Renner got to dress out and play for the first time. So that was great to see. Kayla Plank is back, a freshman. It's going to be a real nice player for us here. She was back playing some JV. So we're starting to get all of our girls back now. And so you can see, you know, a little bit of growth coming with them. And, you know, heck, I think, I don't know if they were career highs. I know for one, but, you know, Reese Kincaid scored 8 points for us yesterday. And you could see, you know, Zach and I were sitting there watching yesterday and you can see the basketball moves that she's been working on. And she did a couple of them. It was great. Jen Haslett, our little guard, is doing a great job. She had 9 points last night. And our freshman, Olivia Havens, you know, she's been thrown to the wolves from day one. She's been out there at the varsity. And she had 8 points. And so, I mean, those things, you know, those are the rewards that we're seeing is the advances that these girls are making. And we'll find out, you know, we struggled against Lebanon considerably when we played them the first time. And so, you know, we'll go back at it and we'll have more of a team and we'll see what happens on Wednesday. But the growth is something that has been awesome.
Zach, over on the boys' side, they get a couple of really nice wins over Levelland and Harrison, using that defense to lead the way there, and you know, keeping pace in the ECC. They're sitting just one game out of second place in a very top-heavy league. This is a very good league this year, but these two games, I'm going through the box scores because obviously I wasn't there, and I'm seeing Austin Cold Iron score 48 points in the two wins, and even more astonishing, 21 of 24 from the field in the 2 games. You're a Bartels Road Basketball Hall of Famer. Have you ever had a stretch in your playing career, not practice, not warm-up lines, where you went 21 for 24?
Yeah. So Newt and I talked about this yesterday. There was a girl from Milford who was 5 for 5, and Newt said, "Man, you would never go 5 for 5 because as soon as you hit 2 in a row, those things are going up quick." So I don't think I'll ever be able to go 21 for 24 because, I mean, if I was ever shooting that high of a percentage, it would be about 87 for 90 because I don't pass. So it would be getting launched as quick as the ball came to me. So no, but it was awesome. It was very impressive to watch. Austin is he's such a fun kid because he doesn't know how good he can be. And he can do this all the time. And I actually texted him after Saturday night, and I just told him how proud I was of him, just because he stuck his big old rear end down by the basket, and he just
careful.
Oh, we're good. And he parked it down there, and sometimes he tends to play outside out on the perimeter, and he parked it down there, and he's going to be a load for anybody. And he stayed out of foul trouble, and it was just awesome to see his aggression, kind of playing with an edge a little bit. I mean, he had a fast break 2-handed hammer that he threw down. Was that Saturday night or Friday night?
I think it was Saturday.
Yeah. So, I mean, he had a stretch that was fun for any player. I mean, when you go 21 for 24, there's not much that's going wrong for you. So it was awesome to see him. And then Friday night was just a very special night, as it was senior night for hoops also. And we also honored the Salenza family. Danny Salenza, who unfortunately passed last year, was a longtime coach for us. And it was just a very special day, special moment to be able to share. And it's always awesome when you can pull out wins on top of such emotional nights like that. So we're incredibly thankful for the Salenzas and everything that they do for us, and for everything they do for the kids of Anderson High School, and the positivity that they always bring. So it was an emotional but special night, and it was awesome to get a couple wins, and just super proud for my man Coldy too.
48 points and 15 rebounds in the 2 games. Most impressive, as you said, 21 of 24 from the field. I say that again because that's just really, really impressive. I mean, unless you're a Hall of Famer, you can go 87 for 90. The good thing is for you, Newt, and if that's the case, if he's on you're going to rack up a bunch of assists, and you're going to make Magic Johnson look like an amateur.
You better believe
it. You got that going for you. So let's move on. Let's talk about your bowling teams, and busy week they have this week. They've got Lebanon coming up ahead of the Cardinal Classic over the weekend. Of course, you guys have seen how good Lebanon is in their first year in the ECC. They're as good as anybody in the area when it comes to bowling, both the boys and the girls. So there's not really one you can look at and say, maybe there's a weakness here. They're both great bowling teams. But as we're working into the final weeks of the regular season at this point, Newt, I'll start with you. How much focus right now goes into scouting your opponents compared to just the bowlers focusing on themselves and trying to improve themselves on a daily basis and get their scores up towards the end of the regular season?
Yeah, and that's interesting in bowling too, because sometimes you can get a little psyched out by your opponent, if you try to do too much. And, like you said, Lebanon is outstanding. And I've seen them earlier this year, and they are truly an outstanding program from top to bottom, boys and girls. So, if you as a bowler are sitting over there and watching what's going on over there, it's pressure to, you try to match and go strike for strike. And if that happens, then you're just going to be totally out of your game. So the most important thing for our kids is, and our coach Jeff Miracle does a great job of just being a little bit better each day, each time. And Lily Bryant, one of our leaders in our girls program, she has the ability to roll with them. I mean, I think it was a 236 she's gotten this year, and heck, if she can consistently do that, she's going to go a long way. That's the problem with the youth and the inexperience is, you can go out there and you can do it one time, and then you expect to happen again, but it doesn't necessarily happen that easy. And so the big thing with our kids is we're not going to worry about Lebanon. They're going to get their points and their pins. We can't play defense, right? It's like cross country. You can't play defense. So we're going to worry about making sure our scores are better than what they've been in the past. And we're going to improve and see where we go. And then, our kids, like when our duels, we haven't done tremendously well in, but our kids have performed very well when they've gotten these, like the Cardinal Classic and things like that. So we're looking for a good weekend, and we get some kids back from the DL there. And so we're excited to have a full force.
As we're winding down the show here today, Zach, we got a big one coming up for your swimmers and divers. The ECC championships are coming up here. And as Newt said, kind of a similar story with the bowling team. You can't play defense in that one. You can only put up your best times and your best scores as they head into the ECC championships. How close to top form do your swimmers and divers feel they are going into the ECC championships this weekend?
I mean, I'm sure they feel like they're close. I mean, they put in. And what's awesome about these kids is they don't just swim when it's in season in the winter right now. They swim all year long. So they kind of stay in a rhythm the whole entire time. And it's always nice when you have Maggie O'Toole, who's a freshman this year, she's impressed me. I mean, I went out there to Milford last week, and she was like gliding through the water. It was crazy to even watch, because it was like, nobody was even on the same level almost. It was like she was just in a lane on her own. I mean, obviously she is, but yeah, no. And also Justin Dostal on the boys side. When you have two hammers like that, and the best thing about them is one's a freshman and one's a sophomore. So how awesome is that? We get to talk about them for 3 and 4 more years. So it's always fun when you have a great group of kids like that. But when they're swimming all year long, they're going to be prepared for this time, because this is what they work for. The whole entire year, and then now it's coming up. So they're going to be prepared, and they're going to be ready to go out there and give it their all, and hopefully have a good result.
And it seems like they're rounding into top form, as you said there, and that's certainly a good thing coming off that performance there against Milford. Lastly, before we go, Zach, how's the beard coming in?
It's coming in nice right now. It's not too long, so we're good.
Okay. Did you have a conversation with the fiance about the bet we have?
There's some things that she doesn't need to know, and this might be one of them.
We may have to spread the word on social media a little bit more and get the tweets out there and see if we can get her attention. And we'll see next week if Zach is clean shaven, if he's allowed to keep the beard. So that's for next week, gentlemen. We certainly appreciate your time this week, and we'll look forward to it a week from now.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much.
That is Chris Newton and Zach McCormick of Anderson High School joining us for This Week in Anderson High School Athletics here on ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.